Hey guys, it's good to see you guys. The very few that are in here. Thank you guys so much for being in here. Well, I only got two people to say hi to right now. Hello, Hippie Grandma. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. And hello, Sean. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe if y'all don't care to. Thank you guys so much for being in here. All right. Well, the show must go on. So, hello, Nani. Good to see you, darling. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. All right. Tonight, we're going to talk about the benefits of forgiveness. I always go over what is underneath my the video for the night, and because I completely understand people have a hard time seeing on phones, tablets, anything like that. So I always go over what we're going to do for the live. Tonight, we're going to be going over the benefits of forgiveness. How does this pertain to our mental health and well-being? Hashtag forgiveness, forgive, support, awareness, well-being, mental health, encouragement, motivation, positivity, good vibes, benefits, community, life, human kindness, compassion, humble. You're not alone, and there is hope. All right, guys. I hope y'all have had a wonderful Monday. All right, guys, we're going to talk about, like I said, forgiveness, the mental health benefits of forgiveness. This one is mental health benefits of forgiveness, but there's a couple different websites that we're going to go over tonight. And this is from Psychology Today, which I use a lot. I think it's excellent information. But before I get started in the reading, I need to go ahead and do the poll. Hello, Deanna in Ohio. Good to see you, love. I needed to do the poll so that way y'all can vote for who we're going to talk about next Sunday, who's been an inspiration, a good example in a lot of people's lives. They could no longer be with us, or they could still be with us, as in like movie stars, famous people, famous singers, just organizations, just stuff like that. So hold on a minute. Let me pull up the poll and y'all vote, please. Give me just a second, guys. Bear with me. All right. Let me see. Give me just a second. All right. No, just saying, guys. Always spelling these names wrong, but y'all get the um understanding of what their name is. Here we go. All right. Like I said, I probably didn't spell their name correctly, but y'all can kind of get the gist. So please vote. You don't have to be in chat to vote, but the vote make a difference. I'm gonna keep it up for the whole entire live, and then we will decide who the vote or who we're gonna talk about on Sunday. So even if you're not in chat, if you're just watching, you can still vote. And the more the merrier, because I mean, we have small numbers right now, but the more the merrier that we can get the vote, the better chances are um, that person gets a chance to who we talk about, which will eventually cover all these. But I just figured, why not give you guys a chance to be involved as well. Y'all give me the names as being involved, and then I get the information, and then y'all vote as being involved. So, like I said, I'm going to keep it up the whole live. And then at the end of the live, we will decide, or the poll will decide who we're going to be talking about on Sunday. So y'all please vote. Okay. All right. Let's get back to where we was at. All right. Okay, guys. Like I said, this is on Psychology Today. We're going to talk about forgiveness, the benefits of forgiveness. All right. It says, forgiveness, the mental health benefits of forgiveness. Letting go of ill will has marked benefits for mental health and well-being. This was posted on July the 10th, 2023. So it is very recent. It's not even a couple months old. It says forgiveness is much more easily discussed and accomplished. New research demonstrates that forgiveness improves mental health and well-being. The action of forgiving is beneficial in helping to reduce anxiety and depression and improve sleep. Forgiveness is a skill that can be learned and practiced. Holding on to resentments is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. A 12-step program saying the above statement, variously misattributed to the Buddha and Nelson Mandela, among others, vividly depicts the self-destructiveness of a common emotion. Essentially, resentment is old anger or ill will kept alive by reliving a past perceived injuries, sights, or injustices in one thought. When you hold on to resentments, whether towards a person, group, or institution, you hurt yourself much more than anyone else. Being caught up in the grip of resentment creates suffering as you become attached to the source of the resentment, giving it power over you as intense emotions eat away at your mental and emotional well-being like acid, and the thoughts that drive these emotions take up space in your mind, stealing your precious time, energy, and attention. The antidote, so to speak, for resentment is forgiveness. Of course, forgiving is much easier said than done, but new research provides important potential motivation to engage in this process by demonstrating that forgiveness improves mental health and well-being. Yeah, exactly. Like Nani said, I forgive, I don't forget, I move on. That's how I do it. Exactly. Like I always say before I end my live, it might be easier to forgive, might be, but you're never going to forget. You're never going to forget. It says the results of the study were recently presented at an interdisciplinary conference on forgiveness at Harvard University. Researchers randomly assigned 4,598 participants from 5 countries into groups. One set received a forgiveness workbook with exercises they completed on their own, such as number 1, write the story of a specific hurt you like forgiven. Number 2, write it again from the perspective of an observer without emphasizing the negative qualities of the perpetrator, or how you were or felt victimized. Identify at least 3 differences between the 2 versions. Well, there we go. Those in the control group had to wait weeks before receiving the workbook. When the 2 weeks were up, researchers found that those participants who had completed the workbook felt more forgiving than those in the control group, as well as reduced symptoms of anxiety and depression. These findings are consistent with those of other studies on forgiveness, which have found the action of forgiving to be beneficial to mental health in ways that help lower stress and improve sleep. While it can be difficult to forgive even minor transgressions, forgiveness is a skill that can be learned and practiced. What does forgiveness really mean? I'm trying to make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if you guys can see it. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. It says to forgive is to let go of ill will, resentments, or grudges you have towards others, people, groups, or institutions. Many people naturally struggle with the idea of forgiving others whom they feel have wronged them. While it's common for forgiveness to be confused with forgetting, there are very there there are two very different things. Forgiveness is not about forgetting a hurtful or unjust action or pretending it didn't happen. It's not excusing or condoning such action, and it does not mean reconciliation. To forgive means to consciously remember what happened and intentionally let go of the pain attached to it and the suffering the pain creates. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. It's more from the person doing the forgiving than the party being forgiven. You can extend forgiveness to others, whether or not they admit to their part in the event. Keep in mind that learning and practicing self-forgiveness is as important as valuable as forgiving others. Hello, Miss Sunshine. Good to see you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well, darling. Another 12-step adjacent saying is that when you resent someone, you become their slave, mentally and emotionally, as repetitive, ruminative, and sometimes obsessive thoughts consume your attention and gas up emotions that crowd out other possibilities. Forgiveness effectively frees the victim from the offender. Though the act of forgiveness, we cleanse ourselves of the pain and anger that kept us stuck in the past. This frees us to be more mentally, emotionally, and spiritually present in the here and now and creates more space for contentment, peace of mind, and peace of heart. As psychologist and author John Friel, PhD, has put it, forgiveness is the willingness to give up all hope for a better past. That's our first one, guys. This might not be a very long live, but it's okay. This is from verywellmind.com. I use this a lot for a lot of useful information, guys. So this says the many benefits of forgiveness, relationships, strengthening relationships. Hello, True Seeker. It's good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well. All right. It says betrayal, aggression, and just plain insensitivity. People can hurt us in a million ways, and forgiveness isn't always easy. Whether you've been cut off in traffic, slighted by your mother-in-law, betrayed by spouse, or badmouthed by a coworker, most of us are faced with a variety of situations, both serious and mundane, that we choose to ruminate over or forget. But forgiveness, like so many things in life, is easier said than done. Is today your birthday, Truth Seeker, honey? The challenge of forgiveness. Forgiveness can be a challenge for several reasons. Sometimes forgiveness can be confused with condoning what someone has done to us. That's okay. Why not do it again? Even for people who understand the distinction between accepting someone's bad behavior as okay and accepting that it happened, forgiveness can be difficult because those two are easily confused. Well, happy birthday, Truth Seeker. Happy birthday, darling. Forgiveness can also be difficult when the person who's wronged us doesn't seem to deserve our forgiveness. It can feel like you are letting them off the hook. While this feeling is completely understandable, it is vital to remember that forgiveness allows us to let go of the connection we have to those who have wronged us and move forward with or without them. 38. And you was born in what, 1985 or 1984? Probably 85. So you're just like a year and a half older than me because I was born in 86, but the later part of 86. Sometimes it's harder to remember that forgiveness benefits the forgiver more than the one who is forgiven. Ultimately, forgiveness is especially challenging because it's hard to let go of what happened. Forgiving someone who has committed unacceptable behavior can be difficult when they're having trouble letting go of anger or hurt surrounding the event itself. The importance of forgiveness. Forgiveness is good for the heart, literally. One 2017 study from the Annals of Behavior Medicine was the first to associate greater forgiveness with less stress and ultimately better mental health. Increases in forgiveness made for less perceived stress, which was followed by decrease in mental health symptoms, but not physical health symptoms. You're welcome, Truth Seeker, honey. Other researchers in 2017 showed that state forgiveness and an intentional, purpose-driven disposition bent towards forgiveness produced in those participants who undertook forgiveness perceived senses of mental well-being, which included reductions in negative affect, feeling positive emotions, experiencing positive relations with others, discerning sensibilities of spiritual growth, and identifying a sense of meaning and purpose in life, as well as a greater sense of empowerment. I'm so sorry, Truth Seeker, sweetheart. I hate to hear that. I'm so sorry, honey. Research reported slightly earlier in 2015 linked forgiveness with the proverbial forgetting. Emotional intentional forgiveness influenced subsequent incidental forgiving. Determined purposeful emotional forgiveness causes forgetting and is an important first step in the forgiveness cascade. To sum it up, forgiveness is good for your body, your relationships, and your place in the world. That's reason enough to convince virtually anyone to do the work of letting go of anger and working on forgiveness. It says how to forgive. Forgiveness may not always be easy, but it can be easier with a few exercises and the right mindset. First, keep in mind that forgiveness is something you do for yourself to sever your emotional attachment to what happened. Think of taking your hand away from a hot burner on the stove. It remains hot, but you move away from it for your own safety. Also, remind yourself that you are moving forward and forgetting this person allows them, or at least what they've done, to stay in the past as you move on. Journaling, paper, prayer, or meditation, and loving kindness meditation can all be helpful in easing yourself into forgiveness as well. This is also from Very Well Mind. It says self improvement, how forgiveness impacts mental health and relieves stress. Forgiveness can benefit our mental health and lower stress. This was dated on May the 24th, 2023. So this was also recent, guys. It says forgiving someone who has wronged us is beneficial to our mental health and associated with lower levels of stress. The true meaning of forgiveness is intentionally deciding to let go of anger and resentment and feeling empathy and compassion for the person who hurt us. This article explores the true meaning of forgiveness, how it affects mental health, and tips for those who struggle to forgive others and themselves. What is the true meaning of forgiveness? We have all been hurt by someone's words or actions. However, moving on or ignoring what happened does not mean we have forgiven them. The true meaning of forgiveness is intentionally deciding to let go of anger and resentment and feeling empathy and compassion for the person who hurt us. Hello, Criminal Matt. It's good to see you, honey. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Digger Duck. Good to see you. Mama Digger from Aussie. Thank you so much, honey. Well, it's okay, Lorraine. It's good to see you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing okay, darling. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It says, let me see, wait a minute. We've all been hurt by someone's words or actions. However, moving on or ignoring what happened does not mean we've forgiven them. The true meaning of forgiveness is intentionally deciding to let go of anger and resentment and feeling empathy and compassion for the person who hurt us. Exactly. The abuse or harmful behavior may still be unacceptable and not forgiven, but if you empathize with the pain or circumstance the person was facing, your resentment and agony could decrease with this understanding to ultimately reduce your own suffering. Be careful, truth seeker, if you're driving home, honey. A common misunderstanding of forgiveness is that it is associated with reconciliation. For instance, you're estranged from your parent due to a history of CA and neglect. Forgiving them does not necessarily mean you need to rebuild a relationship or be in contact with them. It can be done by yourself. Oh, I hope you're okay, criminal med, sweetheart. What are the three aspects of forgiveness? There are three aspects of forgiveness. Forgiving another person's. This aspect of forgiveness is the most commonly talked about. It involves impersonal forgiveness between two or more people. Some examples of the issue include betrayal of trust, words of insensitive, aggressive behavior, physical altercations. Factors that influence the likelihood of forgiveness include the value and type of the relationship, the probability of the harm occurring again, and the severity of the offense. Forgiving oneself. I think this is a big one, guys. I know it's easier to it can be easier said than done to forgive, but maybe you might be able to forgive yourself, um, you know, for that person's wrongdoings if you can't forgive them, if that makes sense. Forgiving yourself on your own wrongdoing may require the most effort since you might feel sadness regarding something you said, did, or didn't do. Forgiving yourself for your own wrongdoing requires the most effort. Not forgiving yourself can lead to feelings of shame, guilt, and self-defeat and detrimental health outcomes such as depression and unalive. If you're having unalive thoughts, contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988 for support and assistance from a trained counselor. If you or your loved one are in danger, call 911. For more mental health resources, see our National Healthline database. Forgiving the situation or circumstance. What's up, LBG? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, brother. Says this aspect of forgiveness involves events that are not within the control of a person. Some examples include a pandemic, natural disasters such as earthquakes, floods, and hurricanes, the death of a loved one, and receiving a diagnosis for a life-threatening condition. These situations make people angry. They blame God and feel helpless, powerless, and hopeless. If a person is unable to forgive, they may develop a negative view on the world or of the world. You guys, please vote to determine who we're going to talk about on Sunday. And like I said, y'all don't necessarily have to be in chat to vote, but you can watch and vote. Just please vote because it's going to be on until the end of my live, and then I'm going to it's going to calculate the votes, and then it's going to decide who we are going to be talking about on Sunday. That's made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. That still might maybe making a difference. If they're no longer with us as in alive, they might still be making a difference. You know. Hello, Wild Angel. Good to see you, honey. Hope you're doing well. All right. It says ways forgiveness affects mental health. There are several ways that forgiveness positively impacts our mental health. Improve mental health outcomes. Forgiveness can help reduce depression, anxiety, and major psychiatric disorder. That's exactly right, Nani. On Angel, forgiveness means accepting a negative act or hurtful words and being able to look beyond them and trust the person or person's misjustice will not be repeated. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say, Wild Angel. I think I get what you're trying to say. It says a longitudinal study on female nurses looked at forgiveness of others and health and well-being in midlife. Results show that forgiveness was significantly associated with better psychological well-being outcomes, such as positive effect in social integration and decreased psychological distress outcomes, such as depressive symptoms. It concluded that forgiveness may have population mental health implications in promoting physical, psychosocial well-being. Self-compassion may be a factor that explains this effect. A study looked at the effect of self-compassion on relationship between a lack of forgiveness and depressive symptoms. It included 311 participants who completed a self-report questionnaire that assessed their forgiveness, self-compassion, and depressive symptoms levels. Exactly, honey. Exactly, Lorraine. It says results show that self-compassion moderate the relationship between lack of forgiveness and depression. The researchers explain that self-compassion may help an individual feel positive emotions and view their painful feelings with understanding, kindness, and a sense of shared humanity, which may allow them to forgive more easily. Lowers chronic stress. Rem, remun, rem, Lord, I can't even say these words. Ruminating over what someone did or how things turned out can make us chronically stressed. Forgiveness can help create peace in our lives and heal emotional wounds. A study examined the relationship between forgiveness, stress, and changes in mental and physical health. Using a large community based sample of 332 participants, the researchers assessed how their levels of forgiveness, stress, and health fluctuate and interrelate over the course of 5 weeks. Yes, I know you're not Digger Deck. She says, I know, I could hear you say it now. Just piss off. I love it when she says that. She cracks me up. Tell them to piss off. I love you, Digger. I know you are, honey. I know you are. The results show that the increased forgiveness was significantly associated with decrease in stress, and mental health symptoms. The researchers suggest that there may be reciprocal effect between stress and forgiveness. For instance, forgiveness may be a coping mechanism used to relieve the perception of stress that has caused mental health symptoms. On the other hand, improved mental health is associated with decreased stress, which increases forgiveness, prevents toxic anger. Forgiveness can help us let go of resentment, calm our minds, create peace with ourselves, feel less on edge, and improve our energy levels. Feeling angry occasionally is completely normal and healthy. However, constantly feeling angry because you're dwelling on a past injustice can become toxic to your physical, mental, and emotional well being. Forgiveness can help us let go of resentment, calm our minds, create peace with ourselves, feel less on edge, and improve our energy levels. Teaching forgiveness to younger populations may help create a less angry future. A meta analyst reviewed 20 studies from 10 countries across North America, Asia, and Europe that looked at the role of forgiveness in healthy relationships and youth outcomes. It showed that teaching forgiveness education interventions to children and adolescents had a positive effect on forgiveness and anger. This effect was evident regardless of whether the school was located in an economically disadvantaged or advantaged area. The researchers suggest that teaching the process of forgiveness can help reduce aggressive behaviors and improve social competence among children. Rebuild self esteem. Lastly, forgiveness can have an impact on your self esteem. Forgiving someone who hurts you by offering empathy and compassion can transform the way you see yourself. What to do if you are struggling to forgive. It can be difficult to forgive, especially if it is something that deeply hurts you. However, there are ways to help you reap the mental health benefits on forgiveness. Tips for forgiveness. Here are some tips to get you started. Practice empathy. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes and go through their thoughts and feelings. This can help you understand why they behaved the way they did or said what they said. Have self compassion. When we've been wronged, we sometimes blame ourselves for being the victim. However, when you treat yourself with compassion, it's easier to forgive yourself. What happened is not a reflection of your self-worth. Remind yourself of the benefits. Sometimes we forget that forgiveness rewards the forgiver, not the forgiven. Talk to someone. Sharing your thoughts and feelings with a trusted friend or family member can offer a different perspective on the matter. Write a letter. Putting those feelings into words by writing them down can help you release emotions and give clarity on what happened. Forgiveness isn't something that happens overnight. It requires time, effort, and self-work to consciously let go of painful experience. Talking to a therapist can help you learn to forgive, manage feelings, improve your relationships, and build a healthier and happier mindset. All right, guys. All right. This one is from the Mayo Clinic, which I also use this as well. A lot of information on there. It says healthy lifestyle, adult health. It says forgiveness, letting go of grudges and bitterness. When someone you care about hurts you, you can hold on to the anger and resentment, or embrace forgiveness and move forward. I can't remember. Oh, this don't have a date on it, guys, so I have no idea when this was dated. It says, who hasn't been hurt by the actions or words of another? Perhaps a parent constantly criticized you growing up, a colleague sabotaged a project, or your partner had an affair, or maybe you had a traumatic experience, such as being physically or emotionally aided by someone close to you. These wounds can leave lasting feelings of resentment, bitterness, and anger, sometimes even hatred. But if you hold on to that pain, you might be one who pays most dearly. By embracing forgiveness, you also can embrace peace and hope, considering how forgiveness can lead you down the path of psychological, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Hey, Rift, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness means different things to different people, but in general, it involves an intentional decision to let go of resentment and anger. The act that hurt or offended you might always be with you, but working on forgiveness can lessen the act's grip on you. It can help free you from the control of the person who harmed you. Sometimes forgiveness might even lead to feelings of understanding, empathy, and compassion for the one who hurts you. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing the harm done to you. It also doesn't necessarily mean making up with the person who caused the harm. Forgiveness brings a kind of peace that allows you to focus on yourself and helps you go on with life. What are the benefits of forgiving someone? Letting go of grudges and bitterness can make way for improved health and peace of mind. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, and hostility, fewer symptoms of depression, lower blood pressure, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, and improved self-esteem. Why is it so easy to hold a grudge? Being hurt someone, particularly someone you love and trust, can cause anger, sadness, and confusion. If you dwell on hurtful events or situations, grudges filled with resentment and hostility can take root. If you allow negative feelings to crowd out positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by bitterness or a sense of injustice. You're fine, Lorraine. You're fine, sweetheart. I love you, honey. Some people are naturally more forgiving than others, but even if you tend to hold a grudge, almost anyone can learn to be more forgiving. What are the effects of holding a grudge? If you struggle with finding forgiveness, you might bring anger and bitterness into new relationships and experiences. Become so wrapped up in the wrong that you can't enjoy the present. Become depressed, irritable, or anxious. Feel at odds with your spiritual beliefs. Lose valuable and enriching connections with others. How do I move forward the state of forgiveness? Forgiveness is a commitment to change. It takes practice to move forward. Forgiveness, you might recognize the value of forgiveness and how it can improve your life. Identify what needs healing and who you want to forgive. Join a support group or see a counselor. Acknowledge your emotions about the harm done to you. Recognize how those emotions affect your behavior and work to release them. Choose to forgive the person who's offended you. Release the control and power that the offending person and situation had in your life. What happens if I can't forgive someone? Forgiveness can be hard, especially if the person who hurt you doesn't admit to wrongdoing. You find yourself stuck. Practice empathy. Try seeing this situation from another person's point of view. Ask yourself about the circumstances that may have led to the other person to behave in such way. Perhaps you would have reacted similarly if you faced the same situation. Reflect on times when others have forgiven you. Write in a journal, pray, or use guided meditation or talk with a person you found to be wise and compassionate, such as a spiritual leader, a mental health provider, or an impartial loved one or friend. Be aware that forgiveness is a process. Even small hurts may need to be revisited and forgiven again and again. It says, does forgiveness and guarantee reconciliation? If the hurtful event involves someone whose relationship you value, forgiveness may lead to reconciliation, but that isn't always the case. Reconciliation might be impossible if the offender has died or is unwilling to communicate with you. In other cases, reconciliation might not be appropriate. Still, forgiveness is possible even if reconciliation isn't. What if the person I've forgiven doesn't change? Getting another person to change isn't the point of forgiveness. It's about focusing on what you can control in the here and now. Think of forgiveness more about how it can change your life by bringing you peace, happiness, and emotional and spiritual healing. Forgiveness can take away the power the other person continues to have in your life. Okay, Truth Seeker. What if I'm the one who needs forgiveness? The first step is to honestly assess and acknowledge the wrongs you've done and how they affected others, avoiding judging yourself too harshly. If you're truly sorry for something you've said or done and want forgiveness, considering reaching out to those you've harmed. Speak of your sincere sorrow or regret. Ask for forgiveness without making excuses. You can't force someone to forgive you. Others need to move forgiveness in their own time. Remember, forgiveness is a process. Whatever happens, commit to treating others with compassion, empathy, and respect. That's all on that one, guys. And this one's our last one. Some of these were shorter than others, and I just kind of grabbed as much information as I could. That I thought was really good use of life lessons. I thought it was very, very good. So hopefully it was able to help you guys as well. What are the benefits of forgiveness? It says, what is forgiveness and why is it important? What are the benefits of forgiveness? Why we should forgive someone for something they hurt us so deeply. Does forgiveness mean that you fall back right into the trap that you just got out of? Have you ever asked yourself any of these questions? Forgiveness be a touchy topic, but it's an important one. It can be uncomfortable to talk about forgiveness because it usually means revisiting things that you would rather leave forgotten, especially if it's rooted around a traumatic event in your life. Forgiving others is one of the secrets to happy and content in your life that I cover on my course, Questioning for Contentment. I don't think you are criminal med. In my opinion, you're not supposed to apologize for being hurt because you didn't do it to yourself. You know what I mean? But in order to like, if you try to forgive, like it's easier. Like I said, it's easier to forgive than forget. It really is. But a lot of people, it's easier said than done to forgive too. So you're never supposed to apologize for being hurt. Never supposed to apologize. The person that hurt you is supposed to be apologetic. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to accept their apology, in my opinion. No. You're not supposed to apologize for being hurt. Absolutely not. We're only human and we can only take so much. You don't never apologize for being hurt. Those people need to, in my opinion. Or the situation or your boss or whoever, whatever the situation is. Those people need to apologize. It says, what's forgiveness in simple words? We look at the benefit of something. It's a good idea to start with the definition first. That way we know we're on the same page. The definition of forgive is to cease to feel resentment against an offender. In plain language, the meaning of forgiveness is that you stop feeling resentful towards someone. You can easily see how this carries huge benefits of forgiveness for the person that's forgiving. I once heard it described by a former pastor with a story. He was down in the woods, was cutting some trees and doing some clearing work. The chainsaw slipped, and instead of cutting wood, he cut deeply into his leg. He was able to get out and get help. But till the day he died, he had a scar on his leg from the accident. You can, criminal Med. You can if that's what you choose to do, honey. This is all my opinion. You can if you if you just want to wash your hands of them and you're afraid that they whatever the situation, but it might happen again, then it's probably best to stay away, and just stay with positive people, and because I would be too afraid of the negativity, in my opinion. Like you know what's best for you. Everybody knows what's best for them. Everybody knows, if they can forgive or not forgive, whatever. And it, like I said, forgiveness is easier said than done. It really, truly is. It really is. So Trendy says hello, guys. So, but in my opinion, you feel what's in your heart is right. You know what I mean? You feel what's in your heart is right. Because everybody needs positivity in their life, and they don't need no negativity. Yes, if you choose to, or you can try the relationship again, if it's a relationship, whatever the case may be. But in my opinion, if they're going to hurt you once, then they're probably going to hurt you again. In my opinion, guys. It's not good for your health to carry around hate and anger. Absolutely. That's exactly true, Deanna, honey. I once heard it described. Let's see. Hold on 1 minute. Let's see. Wait a minute. Where am I? Oh, never mind. Forgiveness is like that. He told us it hurts a lot at the time, but now all that's left is a scar, and it don't hurt no more. I still remember but it doesn't hurt. What are the benefits of forgiveness? So, why are the benefits of forgiveness so powerful? Forgiveness sets us free. It lifts an invisible, I can't even talk tonight. Whew. And invisible load off our shoulders. That is perhaps the most powerful benefit of forgiveness. When someone hurts us deeply, our first reaction is to often lash back at them. Bitterness and grudges are a way that we can try to do that. The problem is that those grudges and bitterness don't hurt the person who wronged us. They hurt us, slowly poisoning our thoughts, feelings, and other relationships. It says grudges and bitterness poison our hearts. Forgiveness is an antidote. 7 benefits of forgiveness. Absolutely, criminal net. I can't even talk. I apologize, guys. Absolutely, sweetheart, criminal mad. It is so true. When they don't, it hurts. So expectations are dangerous. Absolutely, honey. Unfortunately, not everybody is a good person, in my opinion. They might act good, but in deep down inside, they're really not. If that makes sense. Exactly, hippie grandma. When someone hurts me, I may forgive them, but they will never be as close to me. Exactly right. But a lot of people hold grudges, and like I said, you're only human, and you're a person. So you do what's best for you. I just figured that this was good information to go over. And if by chance you did want to forgive, I'm just saying, if you did, then this might be steps to help you if you wanted to, or at least help you to forgive yourself for their wrongdoings, because they won't do it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, be easy on yourself and don't beat yourself up because they won't say they're sorry. you know. Just try to be as positive and strong as you possibly can, even if they don't make an initiative. You got to treat yourself good. You got to treat yourself good, guys. It says benefit of forgiveness number 1, it heals a wound in your heart. Just like my former pastor that had chainsaw accident, things in our lives can certainly leave scars. The wound in his leg healed up. It left a scar but gave him no further trouble. My friend, when you experience a deep hurt, forgiveness is what heals the wound. Benefit of forgiveness, it brings you peace. When you forgive someone, it may feel like you're doing it for them by holding on to that truth that you just can't let go of it. It may feel like you're getting revenge and hurting them back, but the person that you are forgiving may never know that until you're still thinking of how they wronged you. The person that is hurting the most is you. Good night, I love you. One of the biggest benefits of forgiveness is the peace that will bring to your heart. Thank you, Digger Duck. I love you too, honey. Benefit of forgiveness. Yes, I do the same thing, Criminal Man. I just kind of stay to myself and basically beat myself up over it. Because it's like, well, what did I do to deserve this? And I'm sure that's come across a lot of y'all's minds. Like, what in the world did I do to deserve this? Or, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So you just stay to yourself. You don't really talk to nobody or nothing. I completely understand. I did the same thing, which I kind of stay to myself anyway, even if I, was or was not hurt, I still stay to myself. It's just better. It's just, in my opinion, better that way. Because it doesn't, I don't deal with drama and no BS, so I just stay to myself. So, it doesn't, I mean, so it doesn't start, but sometimes it'll start even if you're staying to yourself. So you just got to try your best to stay strong. You just got to try your very best. Benefit of forgiveness, it helps you with other relationships. It's hard to have a good, healthy relationship with you or holding a grudge or walking around with bitterness in your heart. Those things poison our relationships. Not forgiving plants of seed of doubt in our loved ones' minds of what if I ever mess up so badly that they need to forgive me. When you forgive others, it helps you love people better, especially those close to you. That's a huge benefit of forgiveness. Digger Deck says, I walk away and don't even argue. I don't even have to explain. I just have nothing more to do with toxic waste. No, you tell them to piss off, Digger Deck. I love it when she says that. I love it in her accent. Tell them to piss off. I love it. Exactly, Sean. I'm down for forgiving someone, but if their actions don't change, they are done in my book. You could only forgive so much. If it continues, I disappear. Absolutely. You can only handle so much. You can only handle so much, guys. We're only human, so we can only handle so much. It says benefit of forgiveness number 4, it stops victimhood mentality. When someone has wronged you, it's easy to think that they destroyed your life. You might even think that they ruined your entire future and you'll never be happy with your life. That's a lot of pain to live with. The other problem with this mindset is that it paints you an innocent victim and puts you in a position where you feel like you can't do anything about it. It's called victimhood mentality. When you forgive someone, you take back control of your life. You acknowledge the hurt and the results of what happened, but you also give yourself permission and the freedom to move on. You move from this position of being bounced around in the back of a covered wagon to sitting in the driver's seat and holding the reins. It puts you back in charge of your own life. Benefit of forgiveness number 5. I think there's 7 total, guys. Improved mental health. As you imagine, improved mental health is a huge benefit of forgiveness. When we forgive someone, we also let go of guilt towards ourselves. We no longer let bitterness and anger poison our relationships, and that space can be filled with love instead. Benefit of forgiveness number 6, stress reduction. Just as forgiveness improves our mental health, it also releases stress on us. That stress causes physical symptoms in our bodies, none of which are good long term. I'll go more into physical health benefits in a minute. But the more studies are done on forgiveness, the more we learn about how good for us it actually is. Number 7, this is the last step, guys. Sets a good example for others. I messed up more my fair share of times. There are times that I mess up. I lose my temper, yell at my kids. I have good intentions and try to intervene in a situation, but instead of making it better, I make a terrible mess. I hurt feelings when I don't mean to. I need forgiveness from time to time. Absolutely. We're only human. We do make mistakes. And as long as you own up to what you did and, say, man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, or whatever the case may be, then, it's up to that person to accept your apology, or if not, you at least tried. See, Rebel said, can maybe forgive, but can never forget. And Rebel is a good one to hold grudges, guys. Rebel likes to hold some grudges. He's kind of like Digger Duck. He don't really like to forgive much. It says, when I forgive others, it sets a good example. Can the benefit of forgiveness, including physical healing? It's no accident that sites such as Berkeley, Mayo Clinic, Harbor Health, Healthline, Mind Body Green, and Johns Hopkins Medicine all have articles on forgiveness. From a specific perspective, some health benefits of forgiveness are lowering the risk of heart attack, lowering blood pressure, reducing stress, improving cholesterol levels, reducing pain, reducing levels of anxiety, depression, and stress. How does forgiveness heal? In my opinion, forgiveness heals because it is of God. And an undeniable connection exists between our brains and our bodies. Science has not completely unlocked all of its mysteries. We do know that there is a connection between a certain brain chemical and our emotion. Many of these have to do with our stress responses. That's exactly right, Criminal Med. You hit the nail on the head on that one. Absolutely right. It says, what is forgiveness and why is it important? There have been some scientific studies starting in the 1980s that try to figure out exactly how forgiveness heals and explore some of the benefits of forgiveness. It even mentioned the handbook for positive psychology. What's up, Ghost Devil? Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Put in 2002 by the Oxford Press. I have not found exactly how forgiveness heals from a scientific standpoint. It says, but if you have ever struggled with forgiving a deep hurt and then succeeded, you have felt in your heart how a weight has lifted off of you. Sometimes the how is not as important as just knowing and feeling it does. It says, what is true forgiveness? Forgiveness is learning from your mistakes, but letting go of guilt that holds you back. That's a huge benefit of forgiveness. However, true forgiveness does not mean that there will be reconciliation and you will make up with whomever hurts you. True forgiveness is dealing with the consequences of what happened to you, taking the lesson and moving on. It's releasing the pent up anger and bitterness so it doesn't poison your good relationships. True forgiveness is a scar of something that once hurt, but it doesn't give you pain anymore. You have to let it go and moved on, but kept the lesson. It says, how can I practice forgiveness? Oh my goodness, guys. The first step is forgiving in mostly a decision. Then comes the hard part, sorting out the emotions. Be patient with yourself on this part. It will take your heart time to heal. If the steps explained below are not enough, I have listed some additional resources on the benefits of forgiveness and the steps to do so at the very bottom of this post. Forgiveness is hard, but the benefits of forgiveness make it worth the effort. Number 1, decide to forgive the person. This is the easiest step in the whole process to me because it's intellectual. Hello, Mermaid. Good to see you, darling. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. You decide that you're going to forgive someone that wronged you. This does not mean that you have to reconcile with the other person. It means that you decide to not hold hate and bitterness in your heart. Or this person that you need to forgive might even be yourself. If that's the case, then yes, you do have to live with yourself and reconcile. No getting around to that if it's you. We are often very hard on ourselves, though, through our inner critics. Number 2, think about the person that you have decided to forgive. I know this step is hard and often stirs up strong feelings, pain, anger, resentment, bitterness, helplessness, and any number of other emotions. You just ripped the band-aid off an old wound. All the hurt, pain, anger, resentment, and bitterness. That's what needs to heal. Acknowledge your feelings. Oh my goodness, guys. My allergies are driving me crazy. My eyes. Shoot, Lord have mercy. I went to the eye doctor, but they're still driving me crazy. It says, all too often we make the mistake of trying not to feel anything or stuffing negative emotions away. We just sweep them under the figurative rug, like I've talked about before, guys, and hope they will go away. They may work for a time, but at some point, someone will unknowingly lift that rug up or bump it, and they will all come flooding out. It's okay to feel sad, angry, etc. As my mom used to tell me, feelings are okay, some actions are not. To acknowledge them and bundle them up. Because in the next step, we're about to take them all up to someone that can handle them better than we can. Pray. Number 4 is pray. This is a step that you will not find in any scientific mental health guide to forgiveness, but I believe it is a vital step. God forgives us children of their sins. So when we should forgive others, He's a great physician. There is no one better to fix your broken heart than the one that made you in the first place. He knows your hurt, your anger, your bitterness, and your tears. He knows the anguish of your heart. Give it all to Him. Ask Him to help you forgive. Say to yourself or to God, I forgive. Perhaps another benefit of forgiveness is that it will bring you closer to God. Forgiveness is a hard thing. You will be praying about it many times as you go through this process. And I'm not, I am not throwing religion on anybody. You believe what you want to believe. I'm just reading, what this says. So I don't want to, pushing on nobody. I'm just reading what this says, guys. So, emphasize and reflect. After you have said that you forgive someone, there is where the process part comes in. Just as it takes time for physical wound to heal, it also takes time for emotional wounds to heal. By saying that you forgive someone and working on those feelings, you have started a process that may take some time. Think about a situation with empathy or sympathy. Reflect on what you've learned or how your experience has strengthened you. The person have been acting out of their own fear, are likely dealing with their own issues. How people treat other people is largely a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Would you hush, Rebel? I swear. Hello, Rocket Queen. I love you, darling. I know forgiveness is not for everybody, guys. I just thought this was some useful information if people are having a hard time forgive. I'm not saying that you have to forgive. I'm just saying the benefits of forgiveness if you wanted to forgive. This is just, this is just some useful advice. You don't have to do it. You're good. I love and respect each and every one of you guys. I have a hard time forgiving too. And when I was younger, I would always forgive more and then get hurt way more, if that makes sense. So now I keep my boundaries more up. It says emphasize and reflect. After you say that you forgive someone, this is a process. This is a process part that comes in. Just as it takes time for physical wound to heal, it also takes time for emotional wounds to heal. By saying that you forgive someone and working on those feelings, you have started a process that may take some time. Think about the situation with empathy or sympathy. Reflect on what you've learned or how the experience has strengthened you. The person may have been acting out their own fear or likely dealing with their own issues. Guys. I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying they ain't. But, they might be fighting with themselves. How people treat other people is largely a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Why is forgiveness so hard? Forgiveness is hard because it involves dealing with a very strong emotion. It doesn't make any sense in the natural world. Forgiveness is a way that we showed God's love in us. The unconditional love business sounds easy on paper, but sometimes it's hard to put into practice. Remember a time when it was you on the other end, though. Was there ever a time that you messed up and needed forgiveness? Absolutely. We're all human. We make mistakes. Is forgiveness an action? Yes, forgiveness is an action. It's not one that can be seen, only felt in your own heart. You forgive for yourself because that's the only one that's really hurting when you don't. It frees you. It's not an action that can be readily seen, but it's an action nonetheless. Is reconciliation always a benefit of forgiveness? No, forgiveness does not always mean reconciliation. The two are often associated with one another, but they are different. Forgiveness means that no longer let feelings of bitterness and hurt chain your heart and hold you captive. Reconciliation means that you make up with the other person. Reconciliation can be benefit of forgiveness, but it's not guaranteed. It's great when you can reconcile, and it's the ideal situation, but we know that life does not always hand us the ideal situation. Does forgiveness mean no consequences? There are always consequences for choices. Forgiveness does not mean that we go right back to the person that hurt us and let them do the same thing again. We still need to take the lesson. My personal story with forgiveness. In college, I thought of one of my roommate's best friend. I later realized that she had me and manipulated me to get me to do things for her. It came out that she was a pathological liar, her description, and that she had always had a problem with it. I felt betrayed and deeply hurt. I prayed about it a lot. Then I went through all the steps of forgiveness I listed above and asked God if I should stay roommates with her or if I should go. Three different people came to me in the next few days, seemingly out of blue, and told me to get out, saying they would not have helped either of us. There are still consequences. I separated myself from her. She found a new roommate and moved out. I went by her new room and bumped into her and asked how she was doing. She was doing to the new roommate the same she did to me, taking her into confidence, telling her she was her best friend, doing things and going places with her. At this point, I was willing to still be friends with her until she lied to me again for no good reason. This time I knew it was a lie. I could see it more clearly. What also became clear to me was that she was going to keep lying to me no matter what. She was one of the first toxic people I had to cut out of my life. And it hurt, but it would have hurt both of us more to stay. She needed to learn not to take advantage of people's trust and that there were consequences for her actions. The experience helped us both. Years later, she found me on social media and sent me a private message. She told me that when I had left, it had been a defining moment in her life and that had taught her a valuable lesson. She thanked me for that and told me that even if we're never friends again, she wanted me to know I had made a huge difference in her life. Walking away was painful because giving up on people does not come easy, but if walking away helped her to have better trusting relationships with others, then it was worth it. In this case, there were benefits of forgiveness for both of us. Was it really forgiveness since I walked away? Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe, please. Thank you guys so much for being in here. It says, you might be asking if I forgave her. Then why did I walk away? Was it really forgiveness? I do forgive her and I hold no ill towards her. When I heard that she was married and became a teacher, I rejoiced for her. She went wild caving with her husband once. She always did have a sense of adventure and smile on her face. I no longer cry as I think about what happened, just like my pastor had the chainsaw accident. The scar on my heart is still there, but it doesn't hurt anymore. In many ways, I'm grateful for her teaching me some of life lessons that I desperately needed to learn. Some huge benefits of forgiveness for me, including being able to smile when I think of her and being able to remember the good times, her good qualities, and sometimes her quirky sayings. She hated getting up early. She would rather refer to the butt crack of dawn. I won't go over these, but they're talking about Bible verses. I just don't want to offend nobody. I mean, I don't care to go over them, but I'm just if y'all are more than welcome to go on this website. It's contentmentquestioning.com/benefits of forgiveness. Um, but I'll read the top part. It says Bible verses about forgiveness. One of the benefits of forgiveness that I did not list above is that it makes for some beautiful and heartfelt reading on the Bible. Here are a few verses to get you started. All verses are from the King James Version. Like I said, if y'all want to, you're more than welcome to go to that website here. I'll put it in there just in case. I mean, I don't care to read them, but I just don't, I don't want to offend nobody. I really don't. Because I don't want to, I believe, but that doesn't mean that everybody does. So I will just put it in chat, and y'all are more than welcome to click on that and read them, guys. This is the last word on why should we forgive those who hurt us and the benefits of forgiveness. There are many more benefits of forgiveness than what I'm able to mention here, but for one, it helps us to live happier lives. It helps our current relationships to be more loving and sets our heart free from shackles of bitterness and hurt. It helps reduce our stress level and has mental and physical health benefits. It is also the right thing to do and part of living a good life. It stops the victimhood mentality and helps us set good examples for when we are the ones that need to be forgiven. That's all. That's all of us from time to time. Forgiveness is an action, and it does not always mean reconciliation. It means that, like a scar, it is the mark of our hearts on something that once hurt us but no longer gives us pain. My wonderful one, there's not an adult heart that will escape this life without a few scars. This life has many ups and downs and lessons along the way. Let us learn as and grow as we do. Do you have any advice for someone struggling to forgive, or do you know some more benefits of forgiveness? All right, guys. I think that is all of it. Let me check. Yes, it is. All right, guys. So, what do y'all think about the information that I went over? Because I'm not going to stay on here too much longer, guys. Um, because I have to get up early in the morning for the youngins. But I just thought it was that I like I said, when I was younger, I would forgive everybody because I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to be loved and I wanted to be liked and I wanted to have friends. But unfortunately, that was not the true friends that I needed in my life. They wind up to be not good friends growing up. They not wind up to be good friends. Like I told you guys before, I got bullied when I was a child because I was a preacher's daughter. So I got bullied and I got made fun of and stuff like that. And I just I forgave those people, but I will never forget. And that was my childhood. I still don't forget. You know, and I'm not necessarily forgiving. I mean, right now I'm just like, okay, that was 20 years ago or whatever, but at that time I just automatically forgave because I was ignorant. I was young. I wanted people to accept me. I want to have a bunch of friends. And if I forgave them, then, I might have friends. I might be accepted more, what I mean? And it was hard. So now it's in my adulthood, it is extremely hard to forgive, especially when you have been hurt. And it's also harder to forgive when you have suffered with a lot in your life. And I'm not saying that it's not hard to forgive if you haven't suffered, but when you've suffered with a lot in your life, it is extremely hard to forgive. And you don't never forget. Never forget. Never ever forget. And it's just extremely hard. But like this information that I pulled up, it wasn't telling you guys to forgive. It was just, I thought that it was useful information if anybody wanted to forgive whoever or whatever. I mean, not, I'm not making y'all do anything, because that's y'all's decision. I just thought it was, benefits of forgiveness. I thought it was like a good life lesson for anybody that wants to take it. Just because I went over it doesn't mean that you have to do it. You know, it's a good life lesson. It's good information, and it's good information to have. It's good information to go back to. So I mean, like that doesn't mean that you have to do it because everybody's entitled to the way they do things. You can hold grudges, you cannot forgive, you can stay away from that person. You'll never forget ever. I don't care who you are, and if you did forgive that person or not, or situation or whatever, you're still not going to ever forget. You're still not going to ever forget. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, 80 years old or whatever. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, or Betty White, for example, we talked about her last night. She was 99 years old. What if she never forgave anybody? She just tried to stay as positive as she could. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying as an example. She was a good example because she's 99 years old. I mean, say for example, she never forgave nobody. She just tried to do the best that she could, stay positive, and didn't let that stuff bother her. You know what I mean? Like try not to let it get to you, but we're human. So it is easier said than done. And like I said, if by chance you suffer with a lot of traumatic or depression or anxiety or whatever, a lot of hurt in your life, it is very hard to forgive. It's very hard not to hold a grudge because you have all them emotions going. You're hurt and you don't think that you'll ever be able to forgive that person. You know what I mean? But like I said, we all make mistakes. We all need forgiveness. And it's it's good for us if we can forgive. If we can't, it's good for us to be positive and just keep on going and being strong with our life like we always have. Just either, I mean, I'm just saying, look at the different points of view. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to forgive. It truly is. But I just thought that it would be great information for anybody that might need it. That doesn't, like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it. Anything that I cover, it is just awareness and support information for anybody that wants to use it. Anybody that wants to use it, you know. So, that's the way that I look at it, you know. Thank you so much, Criminal Man, sweetheart. You know, but it's very hard. It's extremely hard to forgive. It really is. It really truly is, guys. And people say it's easy. I don't I don't know how it's easy, especially if you've been hurt. You know what I mean? But like I said, if you don't ever forget that person or that situation or whatever, and then maybe you might be able to work on yourself, you know, to keep yourself positive and move forward and keep yourself strong and not try not to think about. I mean, you'll always have it in your mind, but try not to let it eat at you, if that makes sense. If you can't forgive, just try to do the best you can. Just keep on going forward with your life, staying positive, being the good in the world. I mean, I understand. Trust me, I do. Trust and believe that I do. It's very hard to forgive. But some people, I mean, I'm not saying that some people don't deserve it. They do. But it's completely up to you whether you want to forgive that person or that situation or whatever the case may be or not. You know, it's up to you. But like I said, we're all human. We do make mistakes, and some things we might regret. And it doesn't hurt to say, "Hey, I'm sorry." It doesn't hurt to say that. We're human. Like I said, we have our flaws. We do make mistakes. But it's up to that person if they accept your apology or not. If not, will you at least try it? So you got that off your chest saying, "I'm sorry." For what I did. I didn't intentionally mean to do that, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion on it. Like, that's just my opinion on the subject. It really is. Make sure you guys, before I go, which I'm not going right this second, but make sure if y'all haven't voted, please vote in please vote in the poll. What person would you like to hear about that made a difference on our live Sunday night. We cover a different person or organization or whatever every Sunday night because Rebel does true crime and history. And so I figured, well, why not we talk about somebody that's famous, somebody that could be famous, a famous singer, a famous organization. I don't have any written down, but if y'all have any organizations or know of any organizations that's made a huge impact or might still be having a huge impact, and if I can get that information, then we could talk about them. Right now we just have people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't have organizations or whatever the case may be. you know so I'm just saying, we will eventually cover everybody that we have written down. It landed on Leonard Skinner, honey. Woo woo. It landed on Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner concert is this Saturday, Mermaid. Yes. And Nani, I don't know if you're still in here or not, but I know she's excited about it because Nani loves some Leonard Skinner. Yes, it's Leonard Skinner. Woo woo. Rebel's favorite band. But yeah, I just figured, since Rebel talks about true crime and history on Sundays, why couldn't we not, if these people are no longer with us, like beautiful Betty White, we talked about her last night, and her biography, and of course her quotes, and she loves animals, all that stuff. If y'all didn't get a chance to watch it, please go watch it. It was very good. Very good information about our beautiful Betty White. She's an absolutely beautiful woman inside and out. And you can, when the information that I talked about, you can really feel that she was an incredible woman. Incredible woman. But she unfortunately she's no longer with us. These people can still be living. And if they have a good story to tell and I can dig it up and we can talk about it, then we can talk about it. I'm sure there's a lot of information on all these people we wrote down. So if I can just find the good, the stuff that we cover in here, like if they are part of any charity or what they've done in their life so far, or if they have any children or anything, just stuff like that. It gives us a chance to get to know that person. And if by chance they're no longer with us anymore, it keeps their story alive. So I think it's very good. And plus it does examples. It does, I will write that down, Criminal Med. It does examples, it does motivation, it does encouragement, like it just lifts you up. And of course, who don't want to find out about these people? I mean, more about them. And if y'all have any useful information about them, you can always add it to the chat and I can go over, after I go over the information that I provided. I want you guys to be involved as well. If y'all know of anything on these people, or if you have any pictures on these people or whatever that you want to send to me to incorporate into the live, that's fine. I mean, it makes the live more information, the better on the people that we talk about. Let me write that down, Criminal Man, before the chat disappears and I don't see it. So hold on just a second, honey. Chris Reeves and his wife. Let me write that down. That's what I'm saying. They don't necessarily have to still be living. If they're still living, we can talk about what their life has been so far and what they're continuing to do to make it good. If they're no longer with us anymore, we'll just keep their story going. We'll keep their story going, guys. Hello, BH. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Please vote if y'all haven't done so already. Please do. We got Elton John, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. He's a wrestler, but also a famous movie star. Ellen DeGeneres and Marilyn Monroe. I just figured, why not mix it up? And, it's not always going to be a movie star. It's not always going to be a famous singer. It's, it might be, like I have some people that just made a difference in the world, like Anne Frank. She was famous for what she did, but she was not a movie star. She was not a singer. She was just famous for what she did. Let's see. These are just kind of little names to kind of, we got Anne Frank, like I was just saying. Rosa Parks, y'all know what she did. She just made an incredible, she made she was well known for what she did, but she was famous for what she did, but she was not a movie star. She was not a singer. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be a movie star or a singer, or, just, it could be anybody that's made a difference in a lot of people's lives and maybe still making a difference. I know Nani's so excited about Leonard Skinner. Woo woo. JFK. Let me write down JFK. Because I just think it's interesting to keep their story going if they're no longer with us. And like I said, if they still are with us, we keep their story going. And if by chance something happens, we still have a great, amazing story, and we can continue the story. Like, I'll say this. We'll say Betty White because she already gained her angel wings. So we'll just say Betty White. Well, if she was still with us, then if she got voted on, we would talk about her story. And then once she passed, we will talk about her story. I want to talk about somebody that's unfortunately already passed. So that way I don't jinx nobody, because I do believe in that. So I don't want to jinx nobody. I'll just say somebody that's already passed. Like we've talked about Robin Williams. We've talked about Chris Farley, and oh gosh, Stephen King. He's still with us, but he has a good story. George Bush Sr. and his incredible military history. Ooh, that might be interesting. I'm running out of space. I'm going to have to rewrite it because I've wrote all over. I don't know if you guys can see it. Look at my notebook. Look at all them names. I've wrote all over it. I'm going to have to rewrite it. George Sr. and military history. Ronald Reagan, the Queen. She was a mighty strong woman. Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that y'all are giving me more names. I mean, because that just kind of goes, it fills in the blank for the ones we've already talked about. So while we have a mixture, the Queen. Hello, Kenzie. Good to see you, darling. Hope you're doing well. Princess Diana, I think. Yeah, I already got Princess Diana on there, honey. Yeah, I already got her. And then I got Walt Disney. Yes, I know. Princess Diana, she was beautiful. It's a good show on the Sun where he interviews other stars he struggled with, like him. He's open about his bipolar. Well, that's awesome. And these people, I will do some digging if I cannot find if they suffered with any mental illnesses, maybe like addictions or something like that. And we've talked about Ozzy Osbourne, but it just doesn't necessarily have to be, they don't have. It doesn't have to be like a famous person, like what you're saying. I mean, they was well known, but not as in like a movie star or a singer. You know what I'm saying? Like it just a little bit, a little bit of different people, a mixture, but the people that's made a huge difference in the world, you know. That's what I said. If by chance, they do have mental health or addiction or anything like that, I will, and I can find it, I will go over it. Richard Pryor. Oh yeah, he was the gentleman that burnt himself. Red Fox. Yeah, I just want, like I said, I just want to keep their stories alive if they're no longer with us. And if they're still with us, then we want to keep their story alive by what they're continuing to do good in the world. You know, I just think it's really cool to find out. Um, I got Prince written down, I believe. Yes, I do have Prince written down. Yes, I do have John Belushi written down. The oh gosh, what is it? Oh gosh, the Blues Brothers, and he was best friends or real close friends with Chris Farley. Red Skeleton. I don't know who Red Skeleton is. I don't think, but I'll write them down if I, like I said, if I can find out information of them, we will definitely, and they get voted. Well, eventually, we'll talk about all of them, guys. You know, I'm just saying, eventually we will talk about all of them, but I want to give you guys a chance to be involved too. You give me the names, I write them down, which my books get full, but I'll just have to rewrite them. Um, Red Skeleton. But you know, I just think it's great. Like I said, if y'all haven't voted, please vote before I jump off here. That way, you know, it gives everybody a chance to vote. Even if you're not in chat, you can still vote. I believe you can still vote even if you're not in chat. You just go click whatever you would possibly like to hear. And then we will talk about Mermaid. I'm probably going to email you to see if you can send me that the um oh gosh, the link to that, or if you can grab the link and put it in here. I'm just kind of curious because I'm at what you're telling me about the gentleman that's open about his bipolar. Patrick Swayze, I believe I have him written down. Let me see. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I grew up watching soaps with mom and G-Ma, so I still love him in General Hospital. Period. I don't know if you can. Oh man, I forgot. Sorry, honey. Or if not, send it to my email. If you can't put it in here, send it to my email. Let's see. George Jones. The newborn PKU test was prevents mental retardation. Dr. David Weisman. Do y'all know of any See, this is kind of like a harder part. Any organizations that's been a difference in people's lives or still being a difference? because I don't want to leave them out either. If we could just give them a shout out or something, or even if I find like one page about it. State of Mind, Maurice Bernard. Yeah, like I said, whatever that we can find on these people, um, because there's all kinds of information, I'm sure. Now, some of them I might have to do a little bit extra digging, which I do pretty good at the information, but some of them, if they've been passed for a long time, I might have to do some extra digging. Um, but I'll find it. There's a will, there's a way. I'll find it. You gotta be positive, guys. Let me see. I'm part of the Hawaiian Monk Seal HUI. We're trying to keep the monk seals from extinction. Is there possibly a website on it or anything like that, Criminal Med, that I could, by chance, if they did get voted on or anything like that? Because, like I said, I want you guys to be a part of it by voting, and then y'all give me the information. But eventually, we're going to cover everybody that we talked to, that's written down, everybody. But I just want you guys to be a part of it as well. You know. Okay, I would definitely write that down. Thanks, babe, for putting that in there. Rebel. Let me write that down. It's Hawaiian HUI. And that's an organization, right? Okay. That would be awesome, Criminal Man, if they by chance get voted on one day, or or even if they don't, like I said, we'll eventually cover all of them. So when that time comes, I would definitely need to get some information from you. And if you're able to, then maybe I don't know if you wanted to or not. I mean, everybody, I don't normally do panels on that show, but if anybody had any useful information about whoever we was talking about and wanted to come up and speak upon it, they sure could. Like Undercover Mermaid with her, oh gosh, Rick Springfield. She says she has all kinds of information on him. So whenever he does get voted in or voted on, um, and you want to, you are more than welcome to come up here, and we'll come come up on panel just like me and her, and she can like I'll go over my information, and then she can talk about where she met him or whatever. So if anybody, excuse me, I got hiccups. If anybody has any information like that, I want you guys to be involved as well. You know, because I know Mermaid said that she had a whole bunch of information. She's got pictures and everything on Rick Springfield. So whenever his time comes and you want to, I'll give you the link. And because I don't normally do a panel on them, but I gave you the link, and you can come up and talk about them once I get done talking about the information that I found. You know what I mean? So I want you guys to be involved. I really do. Criminal Med, do you live in Hawaii, honey? Do you live in the state of Hawaii? Okay. Didn't you say? I think you was the one I was talking about it. Your family member lived in California. Are they getting? Did they get affected by that hurricane real bad? Are they okay? Wisconsin, Utah, and Kauai. Cool. Okay, that's great, Criminal Man. Because I knew that when we was talking about that bad storm, you were saying I think it was your brother or some kind of family member that lived close by there, and that you needed to check on them or something. So I was just making sure that they was okay from them storms. Now I think another storm is coming through too. So if y'all are in that area of them storms, just be careful, guys. Cousin, I knew it was some kind of family member. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember, honey. Very close family. But they, I mean, like they're fine, and they didn't get any damages or anything like that. Because I know California had a bunch of, well, it turned into, from a hurricane, it turned into a tropical storm, and there was a flash flooding everywhere. All good, just rain. I think they got a bunch of rain. I don't know what part it was, but I think they got a bunch of rain. Well, that's good. That's good. At least they're safe. You know, I always worry about other people, especially in the bad storms, snowstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes. I just worry about everybody, you know, and I pray for everybody. Bob's sisters in Spokane. I can never say that right. With the wildfires. Oh gosh. Prayers. I hope that they're okay. Oh gosh. Now, isn't is those wildfires, or is those fires still happening in Hawaii? Yeah, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I can't even talk. My opinion, I would be kind of scared to go to California, because in that movie, I can't remember what it's called, that has the fault line on it. It's got the rock in it. Oh gosh, I can't think of it. But it's like, you know, it it's scary. I'm like, oh my gosh, if that really did happen, you know. I'm not saying, I haven't traveled a whole lot in my life. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to go there, but I don't know about living in California. Like I said, this is my opinion, to each their own, whatever. But just where that movie was talking about the fault, I can't remember the darn name of it. San Andreas, I think. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I've never been in an earthquake, and that would probably scare me half to death, honestly. That would probably scare me. Oh my gosh, Criminal Med, prayers, sweetheart. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Maui, Maui is an absolute disaster. Mass is gone. All my friends are missing all. Prayers that they get found safe, and they're all safe, honey. Mermaid says, we need rain bad. It's heat advisory times 10,000 here in Bama. Y'all have really bad humidities too, don't you, Mermaid Honey? That's absolutely horrific. And they're still going on, aren't they, Criminal Mad Honey? The fires are still going on, I believe. Yeah. I'd say it is. I'd say it is expensive, Deanna. Shoo. Like, it's one thing to go visit, but it's another thing to totally live. Bodies in the ocean. Oh my gosh. Just to get away from that fire. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm-mm. Hello, Mama P.I. Good to see you, darling. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. See, yeah. A lot of people need our prayers, guys. A lot of people. It's absolutely horrific. And then I seen, in my opinion, I'm not getting what do you call it? Political. But I seen a video the other day, and that person finally decided to show up, and these people are on the side of the road. You finally decided to show up? They was so freaking mad. Hell, I don't blame them. I'd be mad too. Oh my goodness. And Hawaii is not really a big state, are they? Or is it? I've never been there, so I don't know. It doesn't look very big. Or is it actually a pretty big? Does it have a lot of people? I have a huge population in it or on it or whatever with boats. Yeah, exactly, Deanna. I was like, really? You know, like I said, I'm not getting political. I'm just saying I was seeing that video, and I won't say of who, but y'all can just about imagine. And they were like, you finally decided to show up, and they was flipping them off and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, you should have showed up. I mean, in my opinion, you should have showed up as soon as the first little spark started hitting, in my opinion. Innocent lives are fighting because there's nothing done, or there wasn't nothing done sooner, if that makes sense. I completely understand. I completely understand, Criminal Man. But unfortunately, it sucks because they have work there. But if the fires are taking out their work, and like is they're taking their life savings and doing what they got to do, and they're not getting no help from what they need to get help from, which is what I was just talking about. It's absolutely ridiculous. Big island, largest, but all volcanoes. Oh my goodness. It's sad. Oh, absolutely not, Mama Pi. That's fighting grounds, darling. Mm-mm-mm. No, no, no. Do you have any cameras or anything like that, honey? And holy crap. Criminal Med said average rent is $3,700 a month. That's probably the cheaper end. Some is $12,000 a month. Holy crap. Wow. Wow. Homes are 9.5 million. Holy moly. Mm-mm-mm. I mean, like, how are people supposed to make it? This is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. That's crazy. That's crazy. Holy crap, milk is $13 a gallon in Hawaii? Oh my goodness. Holy. Milk here is like $3.99 a gallon. Depends on where you get it and what brand. I understand, Mama Pi, but no, that's fighting grounds when you take somebody's motorcycle, or if you take anything. But motorcycle is a big thing, especially when it comes to Harleys. We like our Harleys, in my opinion. They live off land and spam. Wow. And then I seen this video earlier. Oh my gosh, it was so funny about rolling up in the floor. He was on the beach and he was carrying something, and he was walking like really slow with his skinny itty bitty teeny tiny legs, really slow. And it was a reaction video on YouTube actually, and they were saying he was a sloth, and I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny. Oh my gosh. He's too senile. I probably said that wrong. Sorry. Senile to know where he is most of the time. And running the country. Oh, Lord. Those guys need so many prayers, especially those not knowing if their kids will turn up alive or not. Absolutely, Mermaid Honey. Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't remember the reaction I watched. Me and Rebel was watching, but Lord, I about rolled in the floor. That was so funny. They said he was a sloth. He was on the beach and he was carrying his chair and he was real slow about it. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, definitely prayers for the people in Hawaii, prayers for the people that are going through these hurricanes and tropical storms, and all of the above. I stopped whoever it was when I heard them start it up. They hauled ass. My son and husband was outside in a flash. I guarantee you they were. I guarantee you they were. Oh my gosh. Criminal, man, that's absolutely heartbreaking. The loss of children is devastating. They were released from school, no parents told, into the fire. Holy crap. Do they not care? Wow. That's absolutely heartbreaking. Wow. That's so sad. Innocent babies. Oh my gosh. She said at least 4,000. Holy crap. Innocent babies that have their whole life ahead of them. That's absolutely heartbreaking. Wow. We just got to lift them up in our prayers, and hopefully, you know, it will stop and they can get the aid that they need, and they can rebuild and they can find all the missing people, you know. Yeah, see, Criminal Med, they only show us what they want to show us. You know what I'm saying? So, when you said that you lived in, you also lived in Hawaii too, different states, but you also part-time lived there too. That's why I was asking about it. That's what I'm saying. The media, in my opinion, only gives you what they want you to see, which typically isn't enough for you to really realize what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's heartbreaking. It really is. And I could just imagine. I mean, like, I'm not trying to imagine, but I'm just saying, jumping in the water, because I guess Hawaii it's all the way around. Jumping in the ocean just to get away from the fire, and they can't get out of the ocean. If that makes sense, it's heartbreaking. It pisses me off. I got my husband his first full dresser as an anniversary present because he worked so hard for our family. Absolutely. Yeah. That's like fighting grounds. No kidding. No kidding. It would be eerie for me to try to sleep too, considering, you know. But hopefully y'all's cameras gets a good view. Hopefully they don't come back. But I'm just saying, can get a good view of who it is, and you do what you got to do, honey. Criminal, man, the fire trucks had their water turned off. Oh my gosh. How in the hell are you supposed to control the fires or try to control the fires if the water's turned off? That blows my mind. Like, you're supposed to have, if there's a fire, you're supposed to have a fire department is an emergency thing. You're going to turn off the water when the fire department is trying to take care of the fires to save lives? Who turned off the water? I got the stinking hiccups. Who turned off the water? I'd be fighting and going to turn that shit back on, in my opinion. Yeah, it does, Deanna. That's heartbreaking. Matt, I was getting ready to say that, but I was afraid to say that, because I don't want to be struck or nothing. But population control, well, we'll just leave it at that. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, if the governor lives there too, wouldn't you think that he or she wants to be away from the fires as well? You got to have water to get them out. They don't care. Well, they better hope the cops find them before him and our family. Absolutely. You got this, girl. Hey, you got to protect your own, honey. Just saying, you got to protect your own. I hate to hear that, though. I swear this day and age is just, it's horrible. It's horrible. That's why I say you try to be the good in the world. But this world is such an evil place. Like, the world per se might not be an evil place, but what's in it is evil. People are only looking out for themselves and not being like it used to be, compassionate of each other and respectful of each other. And, it's terrible. It's terrible. You would think that governor, in my opinion, would want to save lives, save as many lives as possible, because that governor, I believe, got voted in. I think that's how it works. Why would you not want to save as many lives as possible? And obviously, in my opinion, the governor obviously don't have a heart. You got 4,000 plus children. You got a bunch of people in the ocean. Do you not care about your fellow residents and the citizens of the United States? In my opinion, I think the Hawaii fires are sus. I think it's a land grab. I think it's sus for the population thing. It's sad. It's absolutely horrible. And then in Hawaii is often off. It's off the United States. It's basically an island, so they can't just go to another state. They have to get in a boat, go to the ocean, the deep ass waters with sharks or whatever, and then go to this actually land, whatever the closest state is from Hawaii. Like, really? Because if you're looking at it at a map, it looks like it's like here's Hawaii, and it's just circled completely around water. So you got the U.S. right here, or right here, and Hawaii's down here, or you know what I mean. It's separate. It's a little bit. It's part of the U.S., but it's separated. So they would have to get on a boat or in an airplane to save them people and let them go to the next state, whatever closest state to them, to get safety. And that's crazy. 3,000 miles out there. See what I mean? That's horrible. That's horrible. And I'm just saying, 3,000 miles from Japan. Wow. That's crazy. And like I said, the only way that you can get there, I mean, I guess I've never been there. I'm just saying, is by what, boat or airplane? I'm sure there's not a road from the States. Then you got a big long road that lasts 3,000 miles to get to Hawaii. I'm sure it's not like that. You have to go by boat or by plane, I'm sure. I mean, just by looking at the map. Is that right? Criminal Med, is that how you do it? Plane or cruise? Okay. Because you can't just drive into Hawaii. I mean, you can, but you have to be on Hawaii. You have to be in Hawaii anyway. But you can't go from the United States, the main states, and drive to Hawaii because it's all covered in water all the way around it. That's horrible. That's horrible. Out of Seattle or LA. Mm. And then you have people, I'm sure, not a lot of people there are less fortunate too. A lot of people struggle. Everybody does. But so, like, a lot of people don't have the means to get in a plane. A lot of people don't have the means to get in a boat, to actually pay for it. Now, if they're there trying to get survivors and take them to the actual states and away from it, they should, in my opinion, they shouldn't have to pay a penny to get them to safety, in my opinion. That's heartbreaking. Wow. Yep. Criminal Man that says that she lives in Hawaii part-time, babe. Yeah, I was talking about the video we seen, and the residence there was on the side of the road, and that person was going down the road, and they flipped him off, and they said, "About damn time that you showed up." And Criminal Med said they basically been doing it on their own. Rebel, you would be fit to be tied. Mama P.I.'s hubby Harley almost got stolen. Yes. She said as soon as they heard it revved up, she said her husband and her son was out there like white on rice. Yeah, see, you don't steal somebody's Harley. You don't steal somebody's motor. You don't steal anything. No, nope. Yeah, I would be on edge too. I would be, but at least y'all, if y'all were asleep, y'all were light sleepers and you heard it because you're like, okay, now my husband's in the bed with me. Like, you know, why is his motorcycle starting? You know, no, no, no. Those are made here in Milwaukee. What do you want to say about Maui? If I'm saying that right, Rebel. Yeah, we was just basically talking about that. Gosh, my eyes giving me a fit. We was basically talking about that, and supposedly they only wanted to send them $700. Well, Criminal Med said that their rent is between $3,700 a month to $12,000 a month, and $1 million homes there. I guarantee you do, Mama P. I guarantee you do. That same dude won't let FEMA in. And that's what I'm saying. It's so messed up because Hawaii is so far away from the actual states. I mean, yes, they're a part of the United States. I didn't say that they wasn't, but just so far away from the actual states itself. And Rebel, she said like, what was it, like 4,000 children um passed, and then there's people in the oceans. Wow, that's heartbreaking. Yeah, they always do this stupid crap when that's coming up. And I think it's terrible because there's innocent lives. There's innocent lives at stake, and they don't care. Rebel, they said, Criminal Man said that the governor turned the waters off. So the water from the fire trucks, they don't have no water to control the fires from the fire trucks because the governor turned off all the water in Hawaii. How could you be so heartless? They're your citizens. They're citizens of the United States. How could you be so heartless and not care? I mean, you live there too. Yeah, I was talking about, we seen that reaction. I can't remember who it was to, but we seen that reaction and they was saying that he was a sloth. And Lord have mercy, I about rolled. That was funny. But they shouldn't do that though, Criminal Man, honey. They shouldn't have to do that. And that's absolutely terrible. Because there's fire trucks there, but they can't even get water because the governor wants to turn the water off. That's horrible. What kind of horrible human being are you to do that? You only care about yourself, in my opinion. How could you be so horrible of a person? Wow. Wow. The firemen were crying. I bet you they were because they want to help so bad. It's heartbreaking. It truly is heartbreaking, guys. Do y'all not have, I mean, do these people not care about humanity? You know, it's heartbreaking. And then all these innocent lives, all the innocent babies. It's terrible. That is terrible. Yeah, they think, Deanna, but we're not. We all know it's like a control thing. It's a control thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, power control, stuff like that. Yep, exactly. Hmm. Sad. It truly is sad. It's an evil world we live in. Unfortunately, in my opinion, it's not going to get no better. But we can try to make a difference in people's lives. You know, it's terrible. Rebel was always telling me about when he grew up in the 80s. It wasn't nothing like this. Nothing like this. It's terrible. And then, exactly. And then let's see. Rebel was showing me something about, I can't remember the name of it, but where they control the weather. I can't remember the damn name of it. But that was crazy. He showed me that and I was like, no, they don't. And he said, I'm telling you, they do. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I can't remember the damn name of it. But yeah, that like freaked me out. Back then, he said, no, back then it was all about America, not power. Exactly. We can't bring it's too far gone, unfortunately. It's too far gone, and we wouldn't be able to bring it back the way that it should be. Like Rebel said, until Trump, we're Trump supporters. Trump train. Whoop, whoop. You know, in my opinion, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but in my opinion, Trump, Trump, Trump. Ski hills get snow by seeding clouds. Wow. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. That's terrible. Yes. Yes. Heart. Yeah, he showed me that, and I was like, they do not. And he said, I'm telling you, they do. I was like, okay, so all this bad weather and stuff, then they can control it. So um, innocent lives won't be lost, in my opinion. It's terrible. It really is. It's sad. In my opinion, we've had some good ones. Let's put it at that. And when that one that I just said was in office, he made a huge difference. Huge, in my opinion, huge difference. Just because people don't like him doesn't mean jack shit. He was damn good for us, for the people. He didn't. I mean, granted, he might have millions and millions and millions of dollars, but he'll still, he'll still take it. Like I seen a video the other day. They was walking out of a hotel or something, and the bus boy opened the door, and that specific person will say Trump. Um, he turned around and pulled money out of his own pocket and handed it to that gentleman. He could have just kept on going. He waved at him and took pictures with little kids and everything. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, just because he's got millions and millions and millions of dollars and makes dollars every second of every day doesn't make him, no less of nothing. That's all I say. Nobody is better than anybody. Just because you got millions and millions of dollars doesn't mean that you are better than anybody. You're still a person. We're still human beings, guys. You know? Yes, he does. Except for one. Yes, and I'm praying. I'm so praying. And I'm not getting political. Do what you want. I'm just praying very, very hard, Deanna. Very hard. Very, very hard, honey. If you know what I'm saying. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Be humble, guys. Seriously. I mean, okay, Donald Trump, and I'm not even talking about what his title was 4 years ago. Donald Trump as a person, he, just because he's a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever, I mean, he's got loads and loads and loads of money. He does not act no better than nobody. He still loves the people. He still wants to do right by the people. And he doesn't, he takes time out of his, I mean, granted, he's a busy man. He's a businessman. But he takes time, to get a picture with somebody or to sign a signature or pour money out of his pocket and give to a busboy or whatever. I'm just saying, it just goes to show that, he's still a humble person, even though he's got millions and millions of dollars. He's still a humble person, and he's still trying to be the good in the world. He's a I mean, whenever we talk about him, and it wouldn't be presidential wise, it would be like the life of him when we do talk about him, you know, because I have him written down actually. It would be the life of him, what he's done in his life, not necessarily. I mean, that might come up, that he was 4 years ago, but like what he's done in his life to get where he was, where he's been at. And he still respects us, and he still, is for us, He says, what I love, a rebel says, what I love about him, when he gets off the plane or helicopter, he salutes his soldiers and turn down being paid to be that. Exactly. He sure did. He gave that money, what was it, to homeless people or something like that, homeless organizations or something like that. I think that's awesome. Hell no, he ain't ready to speak his mind at all. And people don't like that. In my opinion, people don't like that. People want to be, catered to, as in, what they want to hear. They don't want somebody to speak their mind because they get all in their feels. But, like in my opinion, if I went to a doctor, I would want the doctor to be truthful with me, to tell me like it is. I wouldn't want somebody just, as in the old saying goes, pussyfooting around, and just saying, well, just this and this and this to humor somebody. I want somebody to tell me the truth, lay it out there, and, this is how it's going to be, and this is what we're going to do, or whatever. You want people like that in your life. You don't want people to, just what certain people want to hear. You want people to be for the people, to be the good in the world, and he still respects our veterans and our military. Absolutely. He sure does. He sure does. Sloth over there couldn't know nothing. I don't even think he put his hand over his heart that one time that he was doing the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm like, really? And then he just walks by our military, don't salute them, don't shake their hand, don't, just keeps on walking. Like, really? You don't have no respect. Exactly. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like him because he spoke his mind. But that's what I liked most about him. I mean, I loved everything about him. But what I'm saying is, like, he told it like it was, and he respect our military and our veterans. He was for the people. Like, that's what you want, in my opinion. That's what you want. I mean, like, I'm not getting on politics or nothing. I'm just saying, in my opinion, guys, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Agree to disagree and go on your merry way. Whatever. You still be friends at the end of the day if your opinion is different than mine. I'm not going to judge. I'm just saying, I'm just stating my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then, unfortunately, I heard that the sea is coming back full force. So that's rather scary, considering who we have as the sloth right now. That's kind of scary thinking of it. Yes. He brought jobs in there and everything. Absolutely, Mama P.I. He sure did. Yes, he did. Absolutely. Yep. And the vice sloth, let's just put it like that, she's not no better in my opinion. Yep. Another scare tactic. Yeah. Because that's what I heard, that C is coming back with full force, and they're starting to close certain businesses down, and they're starting to close certain schools down, or making them mask up. Like, and always something huge happens before it happens in November. If you know what I mean. Excuse me. If you know what I mean. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh my goodness, I got the hiccups. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like and share and subscribe, please. Thank you guys so much for being in here. I'm getting ready to jump off here in a minute anyway. But these are our opinions. You know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion because we're all human, you know. So, gosh, my allergies are bothering me really bad in that one eye. No, you know. Yes, Rebel is going live before I jump off here. Rebel is going live tomorrow night. What time? What time is it? 8:30 or 9, babe? For our veteran night. It's probably between 8:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll give or take something like that. In between, that's typically what the time frame is. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and end the make sure everybody got their votes in. It looks like I did. Okay, so we're getting ready to end the poll. Elton John is 62%. The Rock Dwayne Johnson is 12%. Ellen DeGeneres didn't get none, but that's okay. We can add her back in another day. Not no big deal. And Marilyn Monroe got 25%. So we are going to be talking about Elton John. Let me end the poll. 24 votes. Thank you guys for voting. We are going to be talking about Elton John this Sunday. What difference has he made in the world? What difference has he continuing to make? You know, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. So Elton John is who we are talking about on Sunday. That's made a difference in the world. So I'll be able to set that one up because I have my whole entire live set for this week. So tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you guys before I jump off here, what we are going to be talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about, and it's set for 10:30 p.m. Eastern. What is wisdom? What is wisdom? Tonight we're going to be talking about what is wisdom? How does wisdom pertain to well-being and mental health? Are there benefits of being a wise person? So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow night. So, hello, Pink Fan. It's so good to see you, sweetheart. It's okay, honey. I sent you a message on Facebook Messenger, too. I don't know if you got it or not, honey. It's okay. Well, the time changes. It's okay. I know you'll watch the replay, sweetie. I know you will. We love you, Pink Fan. But yes, the person who we're talking about next Sunday is Elton John. Pink Fan, I know you know some Elton John. We're going to be talking about him. Well, this coming up Sunday, not next Sunday. This coming up Sunday. And tomorrow night, we're going to talk about wisdom. Wednesdays are open panel. Thursdays when I go live with Rebel. And then Friday and Saturday is our karaoke. And Sunday, we're going to be talking about Elton John. So I always try to plan everything out on Mondays so everybody can plan accordingly. And, you know, they don't have to ask, which, you know, I don't care if you guys ask, but they don't have to necessarily ask, are you guys going live or whatever? You know, I already have every week I try to do that. Makes it simpler for me. I start on Monday and I get my topics. I do some research. I get my topics out. And then, of course, we got open panel on Wednesday, and Friday and Saturday night is karaoke every weekend. So I already got that scheduled, and then y'all vote for who we talk about on Sunday. So we got Elton John this Sunday. Woo woo. You're fine, Pink Fan. You're fine. But I always say this before I go. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. It truly means a lot to me. Me and Rebel could not do what we do without all of you beautiful, amazing people in here supporting us like you do. And it truly means so much to us. It truly does. Truly. And I always say this. You don't know what people are going through. So be kind. Be as kind as you possibly can. You don't know what they've been through in their life. You don't know what they're currently going through. So be kind as you possibly can. Don't be better than nobody else, but be a better person than you was yesterday. You know, be a better person what you was yesterday. And try to forgive. Like it's easy, it can be easy to forgive, can be, but you will never forget. So just, you know, it's up to you. Um, whether you want to forgive or not, but at least try to be positive about it. If you can't, or if you're holding on to it, just try to be positive and try to be as strong as you possibly can, and don't let it get to you. Okay? Don't let it get to you. But I will see you guys tomorrow on Rebels. He says it's set for 8:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. Eastern. He talks about our wonderful veterans and military, and then we go live afterwards at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about wisdom, like wise people, which I think is great also. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful night. Virtual hugs sent y'all's way. And I love each and every one of you guys. And if y'all are watching the replay, please hit the like and leave me a comment. I love reading the comments. So please, if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment and hit that like button. I reply to every comment. So please do. It means truly a lot, and I enjoy reading them and commenting back. So y'all have a wonderful night, and I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And if anybody would like to donate to my stream, you don't have to, but it would be much appreciated. It's scrolling at the bottom of my screen. I have PayPal and Cash App, and or you can do super chats now. I'm still learning that, so. But thank you guys so much. It means a lot, and I love you guys. And have a wonderful night or morning or whatever time zone you're in. Have a good one, okay? I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely night. Love y'all. See ya.